Imagine a morning where the United States of America wakes up and something feels wrong before anyone even checks the news. The streets look the same, cars still move, coffee is brewed in kitchens across the country, but somewhere deep in the digital bloodstream of the world, a signal has changed. Then it appears, a single announcement, calm in tone, legal in language, devastating in consequence. California has decided to leave the United States. No explosions follow, no tanks roll through cities, no emergency sirens echo through the night. Just words. And yet, those words quietly shake the entire planet. At first, people don't believe it. Social media fills with jokes, memes, and disbelief. Commentators dismiss it as political theater, another round of internal American drama that will fade within days. News anchors smile nervously and repeat the word unlikely as if saying it often enough will make it true. But markets do not joke. Algorithms do not laugh. Stock exchanges hesitate mid-movement. Oil prices twitch without explanation. Currency traders pause. Somewhere inside global financial systems built on assumptions of stability, alarms begin to ring. Because California is not just a state, California is an economy disguised as a coastline. It is culture exported at a global scale. It is technology embedded so deeply into daily life that most of the world doesn't even realize how dependent it has become. And now that system has announced its intention to step outside the framework that created modern American power. California alone produces more wealth than most nations on Earth. Its economic output rivals entire continents. If it were an independent country, it would rank among the top 5 economies in the world, competing directly with Germany and Japan. This isn't theoretical power, it is measured, traded, relied upon. Silicon Valley drives the infrastructure of the digital age. The apps people wake up to, the platforms governments communicate through, the systems corporations use to function. All of it traces back to a narrow strip of land on the American West Coast. Hollywood doesn't just entertain, it shapes global narratives, values, identities, and aspirations. Ports like Los Angeles and Long Beach are not merely locations, they are arteries through which global trade flows. Agriculture from California feeds millions far beyond American borders. Now imagine all of this stepping outside the American flag. The first shockwave wouldn't be political, it wouldn't be ideological, it would be financial. The US dollar is not powerful only because of military dominance, it is powerful because of trust. Trust in American stability, unity, and predictability. California leaving wouldn't instantly collapse the dollar, but it would introduce doubt, and doubt is poison to financial systems. Investors would panic not because America is finished, but because America has just lost one of its strongest pillars. The idea of permanence would fracture, and markets are brutally sensitive to broken ideas. Then comes the question no one wants to ask out loud: the military. California hosts some of the most strategically important U.S. military infrastructure on the Pacific. Naval bases that project power across oceans, Air Force installations that dominate Western airspace, intelligence systems woven into global surveillance networks. These are not facilities designed for a regional power, they are built for an empire. If California becomes independent, who controls them? Do they remain under American command on foreign soil? Are they leased like embassies? Or does a newly formed nation inherit weapons designed for global dominance? Even debating these questions sends shockwaves through diplomatic circles. The balance of power in the Pacific would tilt overnight. China would not respond publicly, but every move would be recalculated. Russia would observe, quietly measuring opportunity. Smaller nations would reassess alliances they once considered permanent. Within the remaining United States, chaos would not arrive screaming. It would arrive silently, psychologically. No riots, no immediate collapse, just questions. Questions that were once unthinkable. If California can leave, what does unity actually mean? Texas would remember its history as an independent republic. New York would quietly assess its financial leverage. Other states would begin to view the federal system not as an unbreakable structure, but as a negotiation. America's greatest strength has never been just military or money, it has been perception, the image of an unshakable union, a system so stable that it survives wars, recessions, and internal conflict. California leaving would shatter that illusion, and once an illusion breaks, it cannot be restored, only replaced with something weaker. But independence is never romantic for long. The newborn nation of California would face realities far harsher than slogans. Independence is expensive. Border control, national defense, currency management, diplomacy, systems once funded by Washington would now demand trillions. Would California continue using the US dollar? If it creates a new currency, global trust would take years to build. If it doesn't, it remains financially tied to a country it just left. Immigration would become a logistical nightmare. Millions cross California daily for work, trade, survival. Borders that never existed would need to be enforced. Supply chains optimized for unity would fracture. Water agreements, energy grids, transportation networks, all built under federal integration, would suddenly require renegotiation. Socially, the world would treat California as a grand experiment, a progressive, diverse, hyper-modern society attempting to operate as a sovereign nation in a system designed for ruthless competition. Every success would be exaggerated and praised. Every failure would be amplified and mocked. Climate disasters would no longer be federal emergencies, they would be national crises faced alone. Earthquakes, wildfires, droughts, challenges California already battles would now carry geopolitical consequences. And yet, power attracts power. Technology companies would adapt faster than governments. Media would romanticize the boldness of the decision. Young nations and separatist movements worldwide would study California closely, not as rebellion, but as precedent. The very idea of nationhood would begin to feel less permanent. Borders would seem more negotiable, flags more symbolic than absolute. For the United States, the loss would go far beyond territory or revenue. It would be narrative. The story of an unbreakable union would end. Allies would quietly question American reliability. Enemies would test boundaries. Every future negotiation would carry an invisible weakness, the knowledge that the system can fracture. In the end, California breaking away would not start a war, it would start something far more dangerous, a shift in belief. The belief that even the strongest systems are temporary, that unity is conditional, that power, no matter how absolute it appears, is always one decision away from collapse. This would not be the end of America, but it would be the end of the America the world thought it knew.